Spiritual enlightenment is a term that evokes mystery and longing, yet remains elusive to many. So why is it so rare? Let's begin by unpacking what we mean when we speak of enlightenment, because this term is often misunderstood in many ways. To me, spiritual enlightenment isn't about moral perfection or intellectual mastery. It's not about knowing everything from the perspective of the mind. Rather, it is a profound shift in consciousness, an awakening that goes beyond individual identity. It's a moment when the boundaries of the mind, the body, and the sense of self dissolve, and you merge with the infinite. In this state, the mind falls silent, and what remains is pure, unbounded consciousness, an ocean of awareness without end. Enlightenment isn't a state of perfection or accomplishment in the traditional sense. It's a radical transformation where the ego, with all its concepts, thoughts, and boundaries, vanishes. It is the experience of becoming one with everything, where you no longer see yourself as separate, but as part of the vast, interconnected whole. The moment your consciousness transcends the confines of your body, you realize you are not just part of the universe, you are the universe. So you might ask, what gives me the authority to speak on such a lofty subject? Let me share a bit about myself. I was born in Venezuela, and from a young age I had profound spiritual experiences, out-of-body moments, powerful synchronicities, and glimpses of a deeper reality. By the time I was 18, after years of spiritual seeking, I awakened to a powerful energy that changed the entire trajectory of my life. Over the next 2 decades, my understanding of this energy deepened until the lines between myself and the world around me began to vanish. Today I live in a small rural town in Venezuela, leading a simple, anonymous life. I am not a hermit or a guru on a mountain, but someone who lives among our ordinary people. And yet, within me, there exists a state of consciousness that is radically different from the average person's experience. Most people around me have no idea of the depth of awareness I experience daily, and that's perfectly fine, really. Now you may be wondering, is spiritual enlightenment truly as rare as it seems? In my own journey, I've encountered only a handful number of people who I believe have reached the state of true enlightenment. Just 6 to be exact. These are the people whose energy I feel radiating from them, whose presence emanates a vibration of pure, awakened consciousness. Of course, this doesn't mean there are only 6 enlightened beings in the world, just that in my experience, these are the only ones I've encountered. When I reflect on the state of the world, I can't help but feel that if enlightenment were more widespread, we would not be facing many of those crises we see today. The threat of war, environmental destruction, and the deep suffering of countless people. All these would be far less likely if the majority of humans were awakened to their true nature. So if so many people are seeking and so many teachers are sharing their wisdom, why is enlightenment still so rare? The truth is that the journey to enlightenment is very different from the act of seeking. Most people aren't truly seeking spiritual awakening. Of those who are, only a small fraction is sincere enough to dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to the path. And even of those who are sincere, only a handful will ever experience the awakening that leads to enlightenment. In my view, there are 3 key reasons why spiritual enlightenment is so rare. Number 1, the illusion of Maya. In his book, Spiritual Enlightenment, The Damnedest Thing, Judd McKenna writes, "Never underestimate the power of Maya. The illusion of life is incredibly strong. It pulls us into its web, convincing us that the physical world and the ego are real. To break free from this illusion requires an extraordinary drive, an urge to wake up that becomes your soul's deepest priority. Even with this intense desire, the process of awakening is complex and demanding. It involves a tremendous amount of spiritual energy, sustained over many years, often decades, until the ego completely dissolves. The forces of Maya is not easily overcome. Number 2, the problem of sincerity. Many people who consider themselves spiritual seekers have other priorities in life: comfort, status, success, and only a small fraction are truly committed to the goal of spiritual awakening. When the soul is truly ready to wake up, there is a distinct urge that arises within. It's the type of drive that leads you to make waking up your one and only priority. To cross a line and say, everything else can wait. I am here to find the truth, no matter what it takes. When this urge is strong enough, it's not just a passing thought. It becomes the essence of who you are. And when that happens, the journey towards enlightenment becomes inevitable. Reason number 3, the search for the right path. Most seekers don't know where to look. The mind, in its limited perspective, is the only tool many people use to pursue spiritual truth. But enlightenment transcends the mind. It exists beyond time, beyond space, beyond the limits of the intellectual. To find it, you first must know that it's real, and it exists beyond the grasp of the ordinary mind, and that it is attainable. Once you know this, the search can begin in earnest. But without this knowing, you are left wandering in the dark, relying on the mind's limited understanding of what is possible. In conclusion, enlightenment is rare not because it is so difficult to find, but because the distractions of life are so powerful and the illusions we live under are so convincing that most people never even question the reality they experience. The truth of who we are, our true infinite nature, remains hidden, not because it is out of reach, but because we are unwilling to wake up from the dream. Thank you for listening. May you find the courage to seek the truth within, and may you awaken to the limitless consciousness that is your birthright. Blessings.